Welcome to the Wise Guy Barbecue Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Rhode Island Barbecue News. Stay up to date with the latest barbecue trends, tips, and events from across Rhode Island, through New England, and around our nation. Whether you're a pitmaster or a backyard hero, we've got the sizzling insights you need. Visit us at ribbqnews.com. That's ribbqnews.com. Welcome to the show, everybody. Vin Porcaro, my buddy Charlie Baldwin. Welcome to the Wise Guys Barbecue Podcast. This is a new venture for us, and we're going to be doing what we do best, which is loving barbecue and everything about it, the community, the food, and the fun. So we're going to give you a little overview of our show tonight and tell you what it's about and why we got it started. And then we'll get into other segments later that will feature plenty of great competition cooks and restaurant owners who just kill it when it comes to barbecue.
I mean, absolutely. A little disclaimer here. The title Wise Guys doesn't mean we're actually wise. It's more like, is this guy a wise guy? That type of wise guys, all right? Not like the three wise men that showed up and dropped off stuff for Jesus. So,
yeah, actually, it was one of our friends. We were at the tailgate, and it was a tailgate for a football, high school football party we were at. And Chip and I are just bantering back and forth. What'd you do? I cooked a brisket over the weekend, and we're going back and forth. And we're talking about, this restaurant's great, and that sauce is great. And somebody walked by and said, "You guys, you just think you're so damn smart. You're a bunch of wise guys." And it just clicked. It's like, okay, here we are, Wise Guys Barbecue. That's what we're all about. And then, of course, being from Rhode Island, for those folks who are not catching us locally. There's a little stigma about wise guys in Rhode Island, and we got a few of them that we know, and I think you'll be meeting in the near future, so that should be exciting.
Outstanding. We've just got so much to talk about. Barbecue is, it's just such an American thing, and it's just such a part of our culture in America, and it's everywhere. I know the Northeast gets a raw deal saying we don't have any kind of good barbecue up here. And it's a Southern thing, a Texas thing, and that's just not true. Barbecue is everywhere, and we've discovered some stuff already, even though we're just starting out. We've discovered a lot of great people and a lot of great places to eat good barbecue. And we're going to be talking about that stuff every time we do a podcast, and have some great guests for you, and hopefully tell you some things you don't know, some things you do know, and hopefully you have a good time listening to the two of us go back and forth and get this thing started.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, we have, we just got back from the Rhode Island State Championship that was held in Warwick, Rhode Island this past Saturday on, what date was that? July 6th. And, we're going to have a segment on that. We're going to try to get the winner of that championship to come on the show, because what was very interesting about that, it was a newer entity in the backing of CBA out of Texas. So it provided the winner of the championship an automatic entry into the Jack and the Royal competitions later on this fall. So it's exciting. I mean, we learned that, these right-sized competitions are great. If you can find a competition that's got 20 to 30 competitors and that's it, and then gives you some automatics to the bigger competitions, that's what these cooks look for. They look to get, into these competitions because they have a good feeling they're going to win. And when they win, they get to move right on up. Which is always cool. So we went to one this weekend. It was great. Of course, it was pouring raining, because every time we go to a competition, that's what it does.
Well, that's our thing, 2 for 2. We've been to 2 competitions, and the weather's been god-awful, both of them.
Yeah.
But that didn't dampen the spirits of everybody there. These guys were in great, you might say, fine feather. They were cooking high quality stuff, and they were all about it.
It's amazing. It seems like the worse the conditions can be for these guys, the more they rally, right? Am I right? Like
Absolutely.
They come in on the night before, they set up, they start their cooks a good 14, 15 hours out before their turn-ins. A little bit different on this competition. The turn-ins are a little slower. They had 1 hour turn-ins that happened at the top of the hour. And it gives the cookers a good time to present, finalize their cooks, get the rest time in, present it in a box, and get it up. So 10 minutes before every hour, 4 categories, 4 hours, they're bringing up their meats. And it was just, it's pouring it sometimes, and then other times the sun was out and it's muggy and it was 90 degrees. But, it seems like these guys that came in the night before and slept over, the worse the conditions were, the better off they were on their cooks.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a party atmosphere when they first arrive on Friday. They were all talking about it, how everybody gets together and has a few libations and walks around and they talk to each other. And I remember our guy Ben from Texas was telling us how he went to one of the teams that was relatively new and was showing them how to trim their meat and giving them some tips on things to do. And
Ben from Lone Star Q, he's awesome. I could listen to that guy talk for hours.
Kind of a scary guy, but nice.
Scary in a nice way. Is that possible?
Yeah,
but no. We get it because we're Wise Guys Barbecue, but not everybody listening to us gets it. But no, Ben was awesome. Ben, if you get to this, I know you placed in a couple of categories. Congratulations. Ben's going to be doing an interview for our sponsor, so I know you heard the message for our sponsor at the top of the show. But Rhode Island Barbecue News is our sponsor, and they're sponsoring us today. I don't think they're going to sponsor us all year, but we'll tell you more about that little later. They might.
Good bunch of guys.
All right. But we got a little surprise. We're going to let a cat out of the bag. Forget about it. All right. Just you don't need to know all the details, but we're going to give you a little secret about them a little later on. But for now, they're the ones who clue us into what's going on with these competitions. They got some great restaurant reviews. They got some recipes up there. You guys want to check them out. They're www.ribbqnews.com. So it's Rhode Island BBQ. No, it's RIBBQ. NEWS.com. Yeah, so thank you, Rhode Island Barbecue, for sponsoring us today. And I will tell you a little bit more about them a little later on. So...
Yeah, Vince, so I just want to go back to the competition we went to on the 6th. CBA, is that Continental Barbecue Association?
Championship Barbecue Association,
okay, out of Texas. So, yeah, we had people from Texas coming up to this competition. We had a guy from Arkansas. People coming all over the place. And it like you said before, it's a great competition because, there was only 21 teams. So you have a pretty good odds of scoring with that number of teams, as opposed to when you go to the World Series of Barbecue and there's 250 teams.
Yep.
It's just these type of competitions, local competitions, are a great stepping stone into some of the bigger stuff. The Jack, which I believe is the Jack Daniels.
Yes.
Sponsor. Yeah.
Yep.
But this one, the CBA, I just recently took the Northeast Barbecue Society judging class on June 10th, and it was great because I'm pretty much a novice at cooking, love eating it, and I love talking about barbecue. But I needed to know, basically what these guys are doing in competition, what judges are looking for, the different things that can go wrong, the best way that these guys are presenting their meats, and it was just fascinating stuff for me. So basically, in the NEBS class, the NEBS judging, you get a kind of like a big placemat, and it's divided into squares, and the teams will put together their box of meat. So say there's 6 judges, they're going to put out their 6 best ribs. Okay, so as the one of the food delivery people comes by, you'll pick out a rib and put it on your placemat, and then he'll go to the next judge and he'll pick a rib until they're all gone. This CBA was a little bit different. They did everything with a QR code, correct, Vin?
Yeah. So, like other competitions, they do like a double-blind testing, so you don't know what's coming in from what team. And actually, when you get presented with the box, there's a QR code on it, and you scan the QR code. They have an app. It's not even an app you can load on your own phone. They give you phones to judge with, and you scan the app, the QR code, and that brings up a scoring. And then basically there's like 5 categories, right? Like, based on what the criteria of the judging is, it's excellent, very good, okay, and then not so good. And that's it. You don't have to provide a number. There's no forced number scoring. You just go straight ahead and pick one of those buttons. And then that's what you see on the user end of the app. On the back end of the app, those numbers those choices equate to a number,
right?
And that drives the averages for the winners, right?
As opposed to the NEBS, the NEBS training was you scored it, 6 to 10, basically.
Yep. Which is, and I find that very difficult because when I'm judging something, especially like some of these things, they don't come down to a whole point. They come down to a tenth of a point, right?
Yep.
So, you look at something and can you say it's an 8.6 or an 8.7 or like,
yeah, you really can't. Not in the
I can only judge in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
So my first 3 steaks out of the box, I have nothing to compare them to. So I'm like, yeah, so first of all the food's delicious.
Absolutely.
Right? These cooks are killer cooks. They're knocking it out of the box, and you have no comparison to say was that 1 point or 1/10 of a point less or more than the other one I ate. I have no clue. But regardless, you got to judge. You got to be. Of course, you're forced to be impartial because there's no way to know what's what in the double blind. But I think it's easier to say kind of like, small, medium, large, extra large compared to,
yep.
7.9 or whatever. And it's just, it was interesting.
And I asked the NEBS, the guys are like, you have 2 different teams, and like the first set of ribs you give an 8, and the second one is an 8 too.
Yeah.
So how do they differentiate that? I'm not fully understanding that. I guess they just go with how many of these solid scores you get and things like that. But yeah, I think you should be able to give like an 8.3.
Which fully reinforces one of my goals is we got to do some more judging.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Not just the classes. We got to go do some experience.
Absolutely.
And I know because usually when you do, this is what I heard. I have not judged the competition yet, but from what I understand, you have a table. There's 5 judges on that table. There is a table leader or captain, somebody with more
Correct.
experience that kind of makes sure all the rules are being followed. They're not there to influence you in your decision of your vote, but they're there just to make sure boxes are opening, closing correctly, and so forth.
Answer any questions you might have about a box or something like that. Usually somebody, there's actually a specific captain's class that you have to take if you want to lead a table. And usually...
Plus
like
experience too, right?
Yeah, it's a more experienced judge. They're not going to put, a greenhorn. They're not going to put a greenhorn like myself in charge of a table.
Yeah. Forget about it.
Yeah, forget about it. Who is this Strutz?
It's interesting. So, from what I can understand, right, it seemed like the competitors enjoyed the laxer voting option because, let's face it, if you get a judge that just, for whatever reason, maybe the weather, he got a hair across his ass, excuse my language, they don't want to deal with that. You shouldn't be compromised by one person who's having, that shouldn't be judging that day. But regardless, this thing, because like I said, it gave you more generic scoring positioning, made sense. So I know that was different, and competitors found it very pleasant.
I think it was just a natural evolution of the process.
Yeah.
The training I took was fine. It was great, very informative. But it seemed like the CBA guys had like taken it to the next level. You know, the Nebs thing was, you know, if you're a cooking team, you get assigned a number, and then they even change that number when it goes to the judges, you know, just to ensure that you know there's no partiality or you know, you realize this number belongs to this team. You know, by using the QR code, they eliminate all that.
Yep.
All that stuff. It just seems like a natural evolution in the judging of the barbecue to me, and I think they did a great job.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think the other piece that was important for competitors were no garnish in the box. The strict rules about having the box, a piece of aluminum foil, and your meat. That's it. There was nothing else needed, required, or allowed into that box. If there was, hey, if you had a piece of seasoning that was a little bit too heavily cut and on your box, not on your meat, but on your box, they would look at it as that's garnish. Throw the box out.
Correct.
So they really had to pay attention to that. Some people like that because they like the fact that they don't have to doll up their work, if you will. But other people don't like it because they feel like it's a stumbling block. Like, oh shit, a piece of lettuce got in my box, and now I can't. You know,
I'm getting penalized for something small and insignificant.
I cooked 15 hours and I can't put my box in.
Yeah, and a leaf blew in on my box, and now I'm out.
That episodes is about a caveat of what Charlie and I do. It started with like almost like the original deal. Like Charlie wanted a contract. He said, "Look, you're writing that down because if you don't sign something, I'm not going to believe you." But anyways, we have what we call now the barbecue safari, and we like I said, we want to travel the nation and we want to eat the best barbecue we can, competitions or restaurants, and we want to learn. We want to know why North Carolina is different from South Carolina, and we want to know why Texas kicks everybody's butt, right, Ben? And we're going to do it, and we are doing it. So we went in May. We went to North Carolina, 4 days, just Charlie and I. We went to I think we ended up going to about 11 restaurants.
Ate everything.
Yeah, it's a problem. I put on 6 pounds that 4 days.
That was a learning process. You know, we got down there and just started chowing and realized we're never going to get out of this alive.
The first day was nuts, right? Because we got there, we were hungry too, because we left at like 5 in the morning. Flew down to Raleigh Durham, and we went right to Raleigh, and we went to Cooper's barbecue. Cooper's, what is it? Cooper's something. I don't know. I don't have my notes for that. That's coming up.
Cooper's.
And we were just like, we'll have 2 of those, 3 of those, 1 of those, and
a box of those naked lady teas.
People were trying to look around us, saying, "Are there more of you back there? Who's eating all this food?" But anyways, we ate too much in the first restaurant, and we learned quickly that we're going to have to. But you know what the killer was, and again, we'll talk about this next time. But those damn pork skins. So you leave the restaurant, you can't even breathe, and now you got a bag of pork skins that are just like, it's like crack cocaine.
Screaming to be eaten. Screaming to get out of the bag.
So now you're driving and eating pork skin, trying to drink a gallon of water somehow. You can't
smoking like a chimney. Oh, it was completely out of control.
North Carolina was great. And now we're doing it again. We're going down, so August 1st through the 4th, which is about 3 weeks away from where we are today. I don't know when you guys are going to see this podcast, so that's why I'm kind of trying to throw dates out there. But we're going to go to South Carolina, and we're doing same thing, except we kind of learned we got to go in a day earlier and leave a day earlier because a lot of places are closed on the Sundays and Mondays, right?
Yep.
A lot less there than up here, but still they're closed. So we're going to do it Thursday to Sunday, and we're bringing out one of our other feature writers that's who also our butcher. You guys will meet him later. Is
Tommy the Butcher.
Tommy the Butcher. There you go. He doesn't need any other name, and he's got all 10 fingers. Don't worry. There's nothing like that.
Last we checked,
he still haven't found his wife. I got to find out that story. But and anyways, so he's coming out with us, and I'm a little nervous for Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy might be in over his head. I don't know.
He's a little guy.
What's he weighing in at right
now? That's what I'm saying. He's a little guy.
He doesn't have his 200-pound card, does he?
No.
Yeah, he might be.
He might not come back alive.
Well. it's going to be an eye-opening experience for Tommy.
I'm legitimately a little nervous for Tommy.
Yeah, we may have to throw in a weight clause. Like, if you're 225 and up, you're not going to.
Right.
You shouldn't go on these.
Like they have at Disney, right? If you're not this tall,
exactly,
you can't ride this ride. Yeah. If you're not
this
220,
heavy, you shouldn't be on the barbecue safari.
Tommy, we love you. You're going to have a blast. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about our sponsor, Rhode Island Barbecue News, ribbqnews.com. They're flipping awesome. They're brand new. They started in April. They're figuring it out. Their primary goal of their blog site, besides making money, is to bring all kinds of information of every sort to the people who want to know about barbecue. So I hear a lot. I even said it. It's like, well, Rhode Island barbecue. Like, why Rhode Island? Is there a lot of Rhode Island barbecue? Do you guys love it up there? Like, what's going on? And it's one of those things, especially this day and age with podcasts and competitions that cross state lines. It's not Rhode Island. We have barbecue. It's not just clam cakes and chowder up here. Chowder. We do have barbecue, but we don't have a lot of it, and we can get better at it every year. However, New England's got a lot of great barbecue, so we travel around New England and we taste those barbecue. New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, fantastic. Maine, New Hampshire, unbelievable cooks up there. Actually, I think we learned from the competition where, a lot of these cooks that were competing, you ask them, hey, how'd you get started? And they all tell you, well, I cooked in my backyard. I cooked for my neighbors. I cooked for my friends. I said, really? I mean, how many friends you have that you got to... No. During COVID, we were hanging around, drinking and eating, and that's when I started smoking. So...
Yeah, they want to be... Obviously, the goal is to be a resource, whether you're looking for a competition or you want to... start your own smoking. You want to learn about the latest technology in smokers. You want to learn how barbecue got started. Anything barbecue, Rhode Island Barbecue News is doing it. So it's not, it's not. You get some people talking back and forth. Well, Rhode Island Barbecue. What are you going to talk about in Rhode Island about barbecue? Barbecue's everywhere. Yeah. Okay, it's Rhode Island Barbecue News because, hey, we're from Rhode Island.
Yeah.
But it's gonna entail. Did they give that away? They want to give that away.
Well,
a little
bit. I think they figured it out by now. I mean, one of the
Rhode Island Barbecue News.
We are Rhode Island Barbecue News. I am probably the first employee, and Charlie was the minutes after second employee of the company. We're both feature writers for the website. I do also cover some of the technical aspects of the website and the podcast and what comes up with that. But that's what we're here for, is to bring you this information, and that's why we're doing this podcast. And we're going to continue to do it with Rhode Island Barbecue News. So you'll see some cross branding there. You might see us on there, and you might see them on here. But we just wanted to be transparent in the fact that we're not just the president. We're also a member. So
yep.
I'm not just a client. I'm also a
We're also a barbecue member.
That's right, man. I don't remember that Hair Club for Men ad from 1980s. Yeah. Wanted to thank you very much for joining us today and being part of our new family. And we can't wait to see what's next out of this. And I do know that episode 2 is the barbecue safari, so we'll give you more in-depth information about North Carolina and who we saw there and who we met, who we liked, who we didn't like. It wasn't one person we didn't like.
Nope. Yeah, we had a great time the first safari. Everybody was great. I said at the end of the trip, I said, Vin, did we want to run into one jackass the entire time?
Exactly.
And we really didn't. We couldn't name anybody.
Right.
So looking forward to having another great experience on Barbecue Safari number 2.
Yes. The content presented in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. The hosts do not claim to be experts or professionals in the barbecue industry. Always practice safe cooking techniques when using fire or open flame. The opinion expressed are solely those of the hosts and guests.